Streets empty in Chicago over Trump's immigration crackdown. Look at parts of Chicago, and they look a little different under Donald Trump. Take for example Little Village, a Hispanic neighborhood on the city's south side, where the streets look empty. Locals told us far fewer people were venturing outdoors as a result of the icy immigration and customs enforcement raids, some of which have taken place here. The initial crackdown, we are told, is targeting migrant criminals, but there is also the prospect of collateral arrest. People with, and without, paperwork fear the risk and so are remaining indoors. A community has retreated into the shadows. One man, Steve, told us of the anxieties of his mother, who came from Mexico years ago and is without the appropriate documentation. He said, "She crossed the border over here to get a better life for us when we were born, to get education and all. She's scared to go out there, that she might get picked up." We attended one community center which offers support to migrants. They had placed a notice on the front door giving instructions on what to do if ICE comes calling. A gate at the entrance is drawn closed, where it wasn't before. The staff have changed their routine, following a raid round the corner. Their morning starts with a recce of the roads around the building to check for immigration officials. Inside, we met Oliver, a Venezuelan who is in the U.S. legally, has a work permit and has been employed in construction. In the current circumstances, he is reluctant to go to his place of work for fear of arrest, even though his paperwork is in place. It is a story of government policy with humans at its heart. Immigration enforcement officials publish figures that show an increase on Joe Biden's daily average for deportations in his final year. The choreography of the crackdown, certainly, is eye-catching. Much of America will applaud. Not so much the community center stage. New Concorde prototype jet breaks sound barrier for first time. A U.S. company's prototype jet has broken the sound barrier in a demonstration it hopes will pave the way for a successor to the Concorde. Boom Supersonic's XB-1 is the first civilian aircraft to achieve the feat since the British-French Supersonic airliner, which was retired in 2003. The XB-1 broke the sound barrier for the first time over the Mojave Desert in California. During the test flight, it reached an altitude of 35,000 feet before accelerating to Mach 1.1 to 10% faster than the speed of sound. The jet, which was flown by Boom Supersonic's chief test pilot Tristan Geppetto Brandenburg, went on to reach Mach 1.12 more times. A live stream showed the test flight as it happened. Denver-based Boom Supersonic hopes the XB-1 will pave the way for the development of Overture, the company's supersonic commercial airliner. The XB-1 is around 63 feet long, around one-third the size of Overture, which is intended to seat between 64 and 80 passengers and travel at speeds of up to Mach 1.7. Such speeds would be around twice as fast as subsonic passenger jets, but still slightly slower than the Concorde. Concorde was a British-French supersonic airliner which predominantly flew routes between New York and London or Paris. It could accelerate up to around Mach 2, more than twice the speed of sound, and carried around 100 passengers. In July 2000, an Air France Concorde crashed shortly after takeoff, killing all 109 on board and 4 people on the ground. It also led to the fleet being grounded for a year. Maintenance issues, high operational costs and the impact of the 9/11 attacks on air travel led British Airways and Air France to retire the Concorde in 2003. Poll shows 85% of Greenlanders oppose joining US as Denmark shores up European support. VAXA Post. Poll shows 85% of Greenlanders oppose joining US as Denmark shores up European support. Around 85% of Greenlanders do not want to become part of the US, a new poll has found, as Denmark's Prime Minister shored up support for its current status. It comes after Donald Trump said the Arctic island was vital to U.S. security and Denmark should give up control of its semi-autonomous territory. According to Danish daily newspaper Berlingske, which commissioned the survey by pollster Varian, only 6% of Greenlanders are in favor of becoming part of the U.S., with 9% undecided. On Tuesday, Denmark's Prime Minister Mette Frederiksen said political leaders in Europe and beyond have given full backing for its control of the island. The clear message from friends in the Nordic countries in Europe, and also outside Europe, is that there must of course be respect for territories and the sovereignty of states, she said. This is crucial for the international community we have built together since the Second World War. Meanwhile, Denmark has announced it will spend $2 billion on boosting its military presence in the Arctic. Greenland, with a landmass larger than Mexico and a population of 57,000, was granted broad self-governing autonomy in 2009, including the right to declare independence from Denmark through a referendum. Greenland Prime Minister Mette Frederiksen, who has stepped up a push for independence, has repeatedly said the island is not for sale and that it is up to its people to decide their future. Mexico asks Google not to follow Trump's Gulf of America name change. Mexico's president has asked Google not to use Donald Trump's new name for the Gulf of Mexico, which he pledged to change to Gulf of America in one of his first acts as president. Earlier this week, Google said it would change the name of the body of water on Google Maps once it is officially updated in the U.S. geographic name system. According to Mexico, the U.S. cannot legally change the Gulf's name because under the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, a country's sovereign territory only extends up to 12 nautical miles from the coastline. Reading out her letter to Google at a press conference on Thursday, Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum said if a country wants to change the designation of something in the sea, it would only apply up to 12 nautical miles. It cannot apply to the rest, in this case, the Gulf of Mexico. Ms. Sheinbaum has previously joked that she was considering renaming the continent of North America to Mexican America in her country. She said, "We ask that when you put Mexican America in the search engine, the map appears that we presented." A founding document from 1814, which preceded Mexico's constitution, used that name for the continent. Under the changes on Google Maps, American users would see it online as the Gulf of America, while Mexican and Cuban users would see the name remain the Gulf of Mexico. Worldwide users would see both names. On Monday, Google explained the changes as part of long-standing practice. Coca-Cola, Sprite and Appletiser cans recalled in UK. A small number of Coca-Cola, Sprite and Appletiser cans in the UK have been recalled. It comes after high levels of a chemical byproduct from chlorine disinfectants were found in some of the drinks in overseas tests. It also includes a small number of imported cans of 6 by 250 ml Appletiser multipacks which were sent only to supermarkets in the UK. Batches of Appletiser, Coca-Cola Original Taste, Coca-Cola Zero Sugar, Diet Coke and Sprite Zero were pulled from shelves in Belgium, Luxembourg and the Netherlands after testing revealed elevated levels of chlorate, according to Coca-Cola Euro-Pacific Partners. Coca-Cola Euro-Pacific Partners said, the majority of Coca-Cola products, including standard cans, and all glass and plastic bottles sold in the UK are not impacted. It said the UK recall affects a small amount of tall, imported cans of Coca-Cola Original Taste, Coca-Cola Zero Sugar, Diet Coke and Sprite Zero, which were only sent to cafes and restaurants during a limited time period. All affected cans have production codes from 328G to 338G, which can be found on the base of the can. Chlorate is a byproduct of the breakdown of chlorine-based sanitizers and chlorine chemicals, which are often used to sterilize water. It can cause iodine deficiency in people and is regulated with legal maximum residue limits for a range of foods, including fresh produce, according to Food Standards Scotland. Coca-Cola Euro-Pacific partners apologized as it admitted a small number of our products have not met our high standards. It has also been talking to the Food Standards Agency, FSA, about the matter. On Tuesday, the FSA said there had been a limited distribution to the UK of Coca-Cola soft drinks containing higher levels of chlorate. In 2015, the European Food Safety Authority found that levels of chlorate in drinking water and foods were too high and could result in serious health effects, especially among infants and children. These included impaired functioning of the thyroid due to inhibited iodine uptake. $66-million-year-old vomit fossil discovered in Denmark. A 66-million-year-old vomit fossil has been discovered in Denmark. Found along the Stevns Klint coastal cliff, the fossil is regurgitated lumps of sea lily, a type of marine invertebrate. They were eaten during the Cretaceous period tens of millions of years ago. The vomit fossil will be displayed in a special exhibition at the Geomuseum VAXA. Fossil hunter Peter Bennick made the discovery after splitting open a piece of chalk. He brought the fossil to a local museum where it was cleaned up and examined by experts. It was there John Yacht concluded the remains were sea lilies that had been eaten by an animal, which then threw up the indigestible parts. Such discoveries are invaluable to scientists because they offer a window into ancient ecosystems and reveal what predators ate and how food chains functioned millions of years ago. The find was named Dankri DK1295. Dankri are rare natural treasures of Denmark. Museum curator at Geomuseum VAXA and member of the Danish Wildlife Committee Jesper Milan told that it was difficult to tell exactly which animal had thrown up the remains. But he said it was likely from something that specialized in eating things with hard shells, such as a fish or a bottom-dwelling shark. He added, "We have found teeth from sharks that were specialized in crushing hard-shelled prey in the same area. They are called Heterodontus. It's a relative of the modern Port Jackson shark. That one is high on my list of suspects. It is truly an unusual find." Such a find provides important new knowledge about the relationship between predators and prey in the food chains in the Cretaceous Sea.